Alright, we're back on gaming. You know what? This week hasn't been that bad of a week. Alright, there hasn't been that many problems with the community. There's been a couple. We'll address it as well, okay? Some positive news, especially for the FGC. So, let's get started, shall we? Let's start with, and you know what I'm going to start off with, right? Pokemon Go. That's right. The reason why I'm starting with Pokemon Go is because of what I said last week. Now, for those who remember last week, I had talked about how the developers, they need to get their shit together pretty much, and they need to listen to what the fans are saying. They need, in order to bring the fans back, they got to bring out, better Pokemon, stuff like that, right? Okay, so after that video, a day went by? And developers came out and said, we want you fans back. So this is what they're planning on doing. Now, we had the discussion last week that, hey, is anyone still playing Pokemon Go? And a lot of you guys and girls in the comments section said, no, I don't even care anymore about Pokemon Go. What can they do to bring me back? As you can see, they're saying that they're planning on doing an update so that you can catch more rare monsters. Well, it won't be so rare now, will it? Rare monsters, and that will help bring trainers back. They got a number of features that they want to bring in the game that will help, that will help trainers play better as well. Learn, the tactics more. I don't know what there's much to learn. I mean, let's be honest here. You catch Pokemon. If you get into a battle, you tap on the screen, and then you hold it for your special move. I don't think there's that much, much tactics involved when it comes to battling with Pokemon, at least in this game. So for them to say that, it's going to help trainers, get better, I don't understand that at all. I don't. So, because it's not very deep-rooted. It's not like you're playing on the 3DS or anything like that, and you have to know all these things. That's not how Pokemon Go works. However, over at the Pokemon service, over on their Twitter, that's right, they predicted exactly, after this was said, they predicted exactly what was going to happen with the development staff and what they'll bring to you before developers even brought it out. Now that seems pretty accurate, and the reason I say that is because, given the developers' track record, this is what they have done. They've pretty much ignored the fans on what they want. So, after that was said, the developers actually released what would be in the update. That's right. So, let's see just how close the Pokemon Go servers and their prediction was to what the actual developers will bring you, when it comes to their update. And like clockwork, the Pokemon Go servers, their Twitter, they were correct. They were accurate. And I'll put it like this. When you start to see, once again, the developers and their arrogance and their history, especially when it comes to updates or listening to fans that are playing this game, they don't listen. I don't understand how you still have not fixed the tracker. Again, this is what people ask for. You said, we're going to give you 6 Pokemon to battle with at gyms now, at friendly gyms. No one asked for that. No one did. All right? I don't understand this. Then you say you're going to cut down the animation time for evolutions. Okay, but that wasn't that big of a deal. But fine, whatever. Oh, we're going to do some audio issues. Okay, wasn't that big of a deal, but fine. Once again, you're not fixing what people are asking for. And this is how you expect people to come back? Seriously, this is what you expect. So I'll put it like this. Like I said again, because the developers clearly are not listening, all right? If they're not going to listen to the community, you let it burn. That's simple. Especially with that horror game, with that augmented reality horror game that I was showing you all, right around the corner. We're 2 weeks away from getting it? Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah. It's done for Pokemon Go. Unless the developers can roll out something big, which, once again, they are not showing. I don't know how you don't do this. Like, seriously, minor fixes. That's what you said, minor fixes. You should know Halloween is around the corner. You better have an event quest ready to go. You should. That's how you get people excited. Have an event quest ready to go and roll. And if you don't, well then you drop the ball. You should be doing this by the seasons, your event quests. It's crazy that you're just going to let, once again, Halloween go by. Then we'll see if you do anything for Thanksgiving or if you do something for Christmas. Like, you're missing, all you got to do is look at what other developers have done, especially in MMOs. All right? Because that's what we're talking about here. Let's be honest here. This is somewhat of an, as you know, Pokemon's already an RPG if you played on the 3DS or whatever. But you should know, in order to keep a community alive, this is the route you should go. All right? Give them different event quests, different seasons changing and stuff like that. That's what you do. That's what you do. Follow that pattern. Follow that blueprint, and you'll be fine. But still nothing. Okay, let's move on, shall we? We got some serious news to talk about, and I want to talk about The Guardian. That's right. All you people who were upset with No Man's Sky, and of course, I'm on the boat with you guys, all right? False advertising. As we know, they're being investigated. A lot of you are very upset at what's happened. Well, The Guardian is going to double down. That's right. They're going to say, if you disagree or you're upset with No Man's Sky, clearly you have no life. Are you fucking serious? This is where we're going now. So, they need you to buy the game. They promote the game. They false advertise the game. Don't say potential features that aren't in it yet. No. This is supposed to be something that's out the box. This is what they advertise. And you're going to sit here and tell me that that was okay. But, they need you at first. They love you. They need you. They want you to buy it. As soon as you have a disagreement with the game and you're calling it for what it is, now, apparently, you have no life. Customer service, once again, fails in this situation. And I say this due to the fact that I put it like this, all right? Because Steam and all them, they did right. Give refunds. Get your refund as far as I'm concerned. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that, all right? Because anybody who is upset at their product, for example, all right? The other day, ordered from Grubhub, all right? Ordered food, all right? It's a service, all right? Ordered the product. It was supposed to be so I can eat. Half my stuff wasn't there that I ordered, right? So what did I do? Contact Grubhub and tell them, look, not all my food is here. What are you going to do about this? What did Grubhub do? They gave me a refund, and for future purchase, they gave me an extra $5 off. Customer service. That's how you deal with it. Could you imagine if I would have contacted Grubhub and said, look, all the stuff that I paid for isn't here. And Grubhub said, well, you're just a loser at life. And hung up on me? That'd have been a problem, right? Right? So, as far as I'm concerned, this is once again one of those things where not just the gaming media, but the gaming industry in general has a problem with. Once again, they are 10 steps behind any other business when it comes to supply and demand. Okay? Consumers, understand, if this is the route that they take every time you disagree with them on something, don't give them your money. Don't give it to them. Let this be known. Alright? And if the Guardian wants to sit here and say that gamers are losers, consumers, not even just gamers, consumers are losers because they're upset they didn't get the product that they paid for, that was advertised, because that's what they're saying, then the writer of that article should also take a good long look in the mirror and be ashamed of themselves as well. They should. Like I said, you cannot sit here and think this is the route you have to go. But it's art. Once you look, art is subjective. And every time I've said this, but I said on Twitter not too long ago, all right? Every person that hides behind the artist card, all right? You should know when you go to art school, all right? They set you up for these type of things to be able to deal with criticism during your quarterly projects, all right? When you have those projects, they sit your artwork in front of 30 to 50 people, and each and every one of them are allowed to say whatever the hell they want about your work, whether positive or negative, and you got to stand there and deal with it. But apparently, these snowflakes, all right, soon as you say their game is bad, or, oh my God, you're entitled crybaby, and you have no life, and are you fucking serious? I'm an artist, and get the fuck out of here. I'm not trying to hear it. You guys are so fucking sensitive at this point. And as far as I'm concerned, look, you should just leave the business if you feel this way. Because guess what? Movies, they have to deal with this, all right? Video games have to deal with it. Music has to deal with it. If you want to call yourself an artist, guess what? You have to be able to take the bad with the good. But instead, just call people a bunch of names. Yeah, that's very mature. Very mature when they're talking about criticizing your work. I don't understand that at all. I really don't. I don't care how hard you worked on it. When you advertise something and it's not there, and you know you messed up, just own up to it. Be an adult and own up to it. And yet you have your friends come along, they really have no lives because they bought this and they're, you know what I mean? They had lives before when they bought it because they gave you money, but now they don't have any lives because, you know, they don't like the game. Fuck out of here, man. It's disgusting that they would pull this. You want to know what's just disgusting? We need to talk about this. We need to talk about esports. That's right, you esports fans. Guess we should get into this. League of Legends. Check this out. League of Legends pro player has been suspended and fined $2,000 for using racial language. That's right. And he was fined for unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, once again, we just talked about this not too long ago. I said, what happened? I said, esports, if they're going to be esports, they're going to be professional, they got to get on the same thing as sports. You're going to have the same rules as sports. So if you act up, you'll be suspended, you'll be fined. I've said this for how long? Now it's happening. I find this funny. I say this due to the fact that I find it funny because a lot of people didn't think it would happen. And you should know, with these people coming in, this is going to happen. If you don't act right in a code of conduct, you will be fined, you will be suspended. Now here's the thing. In the article it says that this player, this is his first time being suspended or being fined or being accused, or should I say, being accused because it happened, alright? Being labeled as, unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, understand this. It shouldn't be his first time. Because this guy has a history of doing this. That's right. It's just the first time that he's been caught, really. All right? He has a history of doing this. Apparently, because of his language barrier, he had a problem. Apparently, he told someone to kill themselves before, but he said he really didn't mean it. It was just a language barrier thing. Okay, fine. If you want to play that game, we'll play that game. But then you find out that this guy has a history of verbally abusing his teammates during games. All right? So, it was there. And you waited all this time until it escalated to this point. Which is wrong. You got to nip that shit in the bud when it happens. You know what I mean? So, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, it was going to happen due to the fact that this person has a history of it. Alright? Has a history. I don't care how competitive the game is. There's no reason to bag on your teammates like that. Verbally abusing them constantly? No. So, the person was suspended. And his team, they still won. They still won it. But, was suspended, didn't play, and was fined. And he should have been fined. I'm happy to see this. But once again, esports fans, esports players, understand, if they're going to start fighting, like I said, you have to fire back in the same fashion that these companies are going to do now. Because they're treating you like athletes. So now, like I said, you'll be suspended, you'll be fined if you say something bad. Where's your player association? Where's anyone to back you? Huh? Where's your contract so that you're comfortable? You're just letting them, I'm like this. Even though the fine and suspension should have happened, they're going to keep fucking steamrolling you. They're going to get you every fucking time. Jesus Christ, because you're not smart enough, apparently, to do what you need to do. To get together. Once again, they have gamers who, look, gamers have a problem with being at odds with each other when it comes to what game they like. Let alone coming together and saying, okay, we need an association. Especially for this. They know what they're doing. And the gamers, once again, are still behind. I hope y'all have fun with that. Also, in more news, alright? I guess you can say it's esports because Tekken will have its own esports, right? Tekken 7. Good news for some, bad news for others like myself, okay? For those who don't know, Miguel will be back in Tekken 7. I fucking hate Miguel. Y'all don't understand how much I hate Miguel. I can't stand Miguel, okay? But that's the news for Tekken 7, alright? Miguel will be back, alright? It's been announced. Also, Blazblue, got some news for you. Susano'o, joins Blazblue Central Fiction. That's right. So, another character, Susano'o. Susano'o, sorry. So, yeah. Now, let's have this talk real quick about FGC, because apparently there's been some media outlets, like Event Hubs, which is why I'm not going to link them to this, because after what they did last week, I want to talk about reviving a little thing that we call Marvel vs. Capcom. That's right. They are pushing for Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Now, I noticed this a couple months ago when they made an article saying it needs to happen, it needs to happen. This week, you guys and girls sent me an article saying that, the fans, they want Marvel vs. Capcom 4. So now you're putting it on the fans instead of having your own opinion yourself. Now you're throwing it on the fans. Okay. First off, the way Marvel vs. Capcom 3 went down, you do not need a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. You don't. If anything, why don't you go back to Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Alright, I say this because Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we're not going to forget, okay, that you came out with Vanilla, and everyone poured everything into Vanilla, and then out of nowhere you came out with Ultimate Edition, and people were salty as fuck. People were mad because of that shit, you know what I mean? Like, look, that's one business mistake going wrong. Number two, let's be honest here. The only reason why Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is still around is because why? Anyone? Financial backing. That's why. Tournaments. At first, it was players. But then as players moved on, you only had one or two other players, big players, that were still playing it. Alright? But then, once again, financial backing. That's what it came down to. Capcom threw so much money at this game, okay, when it came to financial backing. Yeah, it stayed for a long time. Now, if you talk to other people about Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they'll tell you that it was a horrible game. They'll tell you that, people get tired of looking at the infinites. You know what I mean? When you have, mostly what you see is who? Doom, Magneto. That's pretty much who you see. You know what I mean? Like, And I'd say that I'm only, of course, I'm generalizing. I'm trying to give you an example in a nutshell because of the time, duration of the video. You have to understand, people were very upset with that. And it got boring, and people decided to stop watching it. Okay? That's what it came down to. Now, with that said, I'm sure there are people who do want a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. But I don't think that the demand for it is really that big. I mean, let's be honest here. Capcom has their hands full with Street Fighter V right now. They don't need another Marvel vs. Capcom. And Marvel has said that right now they're really not interested in it anyway. Okay? So, as far as I'm concerned, there's no need for it. Especially with all the IPs, again, fighting IPs that Capcom has, we do not need a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 right now. I guarantee you talk to a number of people, most times, I'm going to say either Darkstalkers is going to come out of their mouth or rival schools will come out of their mouth. Like, no one has time right now for Marvel vs. Capcom 4. And once again, this is the media at work. That's what it is. Because like I said, if said player says something that has said, the same thing as someone else, they'll write an article about that. When's the last time they've written an article about the state, the behavior of the FGC? And I'm not talking about the raw shit either. No. When's the last time they've done that? No? When's the last time they talked about, people being abused and bullied? Huh? No? Okay. All right. Speaking of abused and bullied, let's talk about the positive part of the FGC, shall we? All right. Let's talk about the Skullgirls community. That's right. Positive this week. So, that's pretty much the only positive news you're going to get right now when it comes to the FGC, because the Skullgirls community really showed up. Now, for those who don't know what happened on Twitter, a player came out and said that he's not understanding how you can get caught up with mix-ups and how people can still be friendly to each other and shake hands and act like nothing ever happened. So, let's look at the tweet. And the Skullgirls community responded with a simple answer. However, the response to that wasn't so nice and also shows still full of immaturity. So now it's scummy to do mix-ups? I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, where do these players come from? I don't understand this. Like, so now we're scumbags. We're scumbag Steve for doing a mix-up in Skullgirls. I don't. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Matter of fact, mix-ups are part of any fighting game. I don't understand how you get so upset about that. And it doesn't matter how long the mix-up goes for. You cannot sit here and tell me that you're going to get upset, and as you said, I'm not shaking their hand, I'm not doing anything. Okay, he's laughing, but I'm sure the truth is being said in jest here, okay? If you get caught with a mix-up, and you get caught with a 70-hit combo or whatever, hey, that's on you. You shouldn't have got caught. It's that simple, all right? That doesn't mean I'm going to get upset and not shake someone's hand over it and get all upset and pissy about it. No. The Skullgirls community, since we've seen as of late what they've done, especially when they addressed tournaments, and now this, it goes to show you that they are one of the most solid, intact communities that the FGC has right now. And when I mean that, and I mean it in a positive vibe too, it's the same way as the Under Night and Birth community or the Melty community is. So you really don't hear that much drama from them, do you? You don't hear that much arguing right now. Because everyone, if you go to these tournaments, you're seeing these guys, they're laughing, they're joking, they're just doing everything, you know what I mean? And they're having fun. Then afterwards, they go hang out with themselves. Even before tournaments, they'll go and approach each other on other games and go to say hi to each other. They'll go out of their way to say hi to each other. That's family. Okay? That's what a community is about. For people to get that salty and that upset over a mix-up, and they say, I'm not shaking your hand, you have a lot to learn, number one. You have a lot of growing up to do, number two. And maybe you're not ready for any of these communities. Because if that's what you're doing, that's how you're feeling, okay, in a video game. It's almost, I'm almost going to say that this is one of those things where we've seen it on the internet and its influence. Where people get salty, they get upset, they throw stuff, and people think it's funny or it's cool, and then when it happens to them, they think that's the appropriate, behavior for it. And it's not. Not at all. And we know that. Okay? Like I said, laughing, I'm sure the truth is said in jest. Alright? But kudos to the Skullgirls community for handling it the way they did. That's a great thing to say. It really is. And once again, Skullgirls doesn't get the credit it deserves. Let's move on to our Game of the Week. That also doesn't get the credit it deserves. It also deserves a remake because it needs a number of technical fixes. But I remember playing this game on the Super Nintendo. That's right. We've talked about this not too long ago. All right? When we talked about Platinum making the game for it. That's right. And I said, well, fighting game community, they should have a new game for this. You know what I mean? So let's talk about, or should I say, let's show Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter.
Rising Thunder! Rising Thunder! Dragon Breath!
Again, a legit fighting game that just needs a little bit of cleanup, some updated mechanics. It can go for a very long distance as far as I'm concerned. It was a legit fighting game. Y'all have to understand, these are the times where there was just house tournaments after house tournaments after house tournaments. You put in your money, in a pot, and you just played and played. And look, I played this. Look, this game, as you can see, Tournament Fighters, it goes so far back. It does. And, look, first off, I used to play really well with the Turtles. And when I mean Turtles, I mean, I used to play well with all of them, but Donatello was first. You know what I mean? Like Michelangelo, all these guys, you have to understand, they have so much to offer with this game. I'm still trying to figure out why. Why we haven't seen a better version. Like I said, it's not just these either. I just want to make it very well known that it's not just this game. Because when you went to house tournaments, for example, I'll show you more, all right? For example, Samurai Showdown, all right? House tournament. If the arcades were full, all right, or the arcades were closed at night or before they opened, house tournaments. That's what happened, all right? You got your people together, because mind you went to the arcades in groups, unless you walked there by yourself or you took a bike. That's usually how it worked. But look, Samurai Showdown, right? Now, mind you, we had a Samurai Showdown, arcade unit, not only, at the arcade, but also at convenience stores as well. Again, World Heroes was on the same cabinet as Samurai Showdown, all right? So, not a problem there either, right? Also, just to let you know, Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct was only at the time, it wasn't in the convenience stores. It was only here, at least, it was in the arcades and the check cashing places. That's where you could only play Killer Instinct at the time, okay? Like I said, but, of course, house tournaments. Also, Street Fighter 2, the original. This is the one I paid about almost $80 for. Yeah, as you see, I still have all my games. But as you can see, all right, still play this game. It's amazing. But this game is what, it was at convenience stores, it was at arcades, it was at corner stores, at house tournaments. You played Street Fighter because that was the thing to do at the time, okay, before all these other games came along, all right? But that's not all. Let's not forget another game that I haven't even touched yet, but I guess I should show it, all right, which was a fighting game. Ultraman. That's right. Like I said, house tournaments for this, but really, not really, because you had to play by time when it came to those games, because you played a computer, really. That's all you did, all right? Also, I could pull out games like Trojan, which was the first fighting game. I could pull out Karate Champ. Like I said, there's a number of games that we played at house tournaments. This is what we did. Especially on a Saturday after school. On a Saturday, man, you can't get in contact. Once everyone is out and they're over there, there's no coming back from that. You know what I mean? It depends on who was hosting at the time, because guess what? You're ordering pizza, everyone still has to eat, you're ordering soda. That's what it was. Pizza, soda, video games. You know what I mean? If you weren't playing sports, this is what you were doing. And it goes to show you that those times, it seems, have been gone. This is how you made a name for yourself back in the day. You started locally. You started in the houses. You went to the arcades. You went to the convenience stores. You know what I mean? This is how you did things. Then you branched out. These days, people just think if they sit around and play online, that's all you need to do, and then just go to a tournament, go to a major or something. I went to Evo, and you know what I mean? I had 1,000 matches online, and you're not next to anyone. Like I said, that's why I said, was it not last year, but the year before when I went to MomoCon, when I was talking to people, and this is the first time being face to face with some people when they're playing video games and fighting games. This is my first time and first experience. Oh, it moves so much faster, in person than it does when you're online. It's amazing. And I think it's one of those things where we've lost that connection with each other. I think we did. I don't know, man. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Touring Fighters, deserves a remake. And I don't understand what they're waiting for. I don't understand. Seriously. Like, take advantage of this. If all these other games are coming out, because they got their movies and stuff coming out, we'll make this game, because the movie and tie-in, then why don't you give them something somewhat of substance? You can make the Turtles bigger than what they are. I'm just saying you can. Let's move on, shall we? Man, those days, man, that's sad. Those days. But let's move on, all right? EA and their bullshit. That's right. Let's get to it. EA limits private game servers massively, which is what PC gamers actually liked about Battlefield 1. Yeah. Remember, at one point, EA was trying to charge you for, servers. But understand that the PC community, this is what they thrived on. They had their own thing. Now, in the article, they talked about how, usually it was community-based, and the community would thrive off it. But now, the price of servers and blah, blah, I'm not trying to hear it. This is the same EA. Don't tell me about the price of servers, okay, EA? When you just finished gloating about how much money you were going to make a couple months ago off of the titles that were coming out in the future. Remember saying, oh, this is going to be a good year for us. Yeah, we can't wait. Mass Effect's coming. Mirror's Edge coming. And all of a sudden, all these games that you were bringing out, what's happening with them? People aren't liking them. But you were so quick to gloat and say, I can't wait to see how much money we're going to turn there. We're going to be swimming in cash. I don't want to hear, all right, EA, especially when you paid all that money for the NFL license. I'm not trying to hear that the price of servers. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not. Fuck you. Anyways, let's move on. Alright? So, I guess we can talk about the fanboy wars. That's right. Let's talk about Xbox, and let's talk about PS4 or Sony or whatever. And you have these people who are still on each side. I like Xbox and fuck Sony, and you have people saying, well, I like Sony, fuck Xbox. So, how about this? Let's put it to rest right now. And hopefully this will end this. You can now play cross-platform with PS4 players on Xbox Live. No more excuses. No more. I don't think it's going to fuel the fanboy wars and say, oh, well, if we look at the stats, more Xbox players are better at this game than this. I don't think it's going to fuel it. However, now you can play with each other. That's right. So, doesn't matter what system you have, you can still play. Now, of course, these companies are going to probably limit themselves on what games they can play in certain games. I personally would like to see a number of games, an abundance of games, cross-platform. Because I don't think it matters. Like I said, if you're a gamer, you're going to play the games no matter what system they're on. That's how I feel. Or what platform they're on. Alright? Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, PC, does not matter. Alright? So, let's move on from that, shall we? It's absolutely ridiculous that we're seeing this, but I'm happy that this is a step forward, the way to go. Alright? But we still need to talk about Microsoft, okay? Phil Spencer. He says, on the Kinect, he says that we won't force it on people, but they still will support the platform. Now, a number of people feel as though Kinect shouldn't be a thing. It still shouldn't be supported. It should die. I beg to differ. I say this due to the fact, not because from a video game aspect. Yeah, sure, get rid of it. I don't care, all right? But we have seen in the past, all right, when especially I've done videos showing you, all right, the Kinect can be used for hospitals and operations and stuff like that. It can help the visually disabled, stuff like that. We've seen it. We've seen people get their hands on the Kinect, mod the hell out of it, and it becomes something better than what it was actually, used for. And I don't have a problem with that. So as much as Microsoft, I'll put it this, if Microsoft just cut supporting the Kinect, that means that the Kinect, the hardware itself, they would stop supporting as well, and it would die. That's something we don't want to see. All right? They want to, if that's their way of trying to get the gamers and use the Kinect for a better purpose, I put it like this. Gamers don't have to buy the games. You don't have to. All right? If you don't like it, seriously, do not buy the games for the Kinect. But that hardware alone is enough to stay around. I feel as though it is. And I know people will say, but we got virtual reality now. You put on the headset. That can help even more when it comes to the hospitals and surgeries and stuff like that. It probably could. And I look forward to it. I do. You know what I mean? It's an evolution. That's what it is. But I don't think we should just discard the Kinect simply because we don't like the games or because the way Microsoft went about it, business-wise, I don't think that's the way to go about it. I mean, if that's the case, then that other thing they're coming out with. I forgot about it already because I stopped talking about it a couple months ago. They show Minecraft on it, and mind you, I said, well, who cares about Minecraft? What they're showing you, you can go to the moon with it. You know what I mean? Like it goes to show you, if you just take it from a technical standpoint and you get the right developers, you can do so much more with technology other than, oh, there's Minecraft. You know what I mean? I don't know. Microsoft, I think that Microsoft is doing the right thing. I think Spencer is somewhat trying to push the ship in the right direction, trying to steer it in the right direction to get people back. I feel as though he's trying, but I don't want to say it's over for Microsoft. Not at all. Not by a long shot. But they're still having problems, and Spencer's only one guy. He can only do but so much. So it's going to take time for Microsoft to get back in the good graces of fans, especially after what happened with that E3 presentation. It is. All right? So let's move on. Since we are talking about Microsoft, it's time to talk about Sony. That's right. Sony reverses decision and allows mods on Skyrim and Fallout for the PS4. Yeah. And you only reverse your decision due to the fact of consumers, because of fans. Because they would have abandoned the game if not. You understand it, right, Sony? Right? So, once again, Sony tried to make a decision, and at the end of the day, you gamers, once again, I'm hoping that you understand the power that you have when it comes to these games. Like I said, supply, demand. Okay? You are the consumer, you have the power, they need your dollars. You understand that, right? So if you don't like something, then you speak up. You got Sony to change their mind when it came to modding for Skyrim and Fallout 4 for the PS4. Will I say, oh, you made a great idea, Sony. Sony, that's great. You changed your mind. I knew Sony was great. No, because it wasn't Sony's change. It wasn't them making up their minds. No, gamers forced them to make the change. So I'm going to give gamers the credit. Because if they didn't speak up, Sony would say, okay, everyone's okay with it. We'll leave it as is. That's what happened. All right? So I give gamers credit, not Sony. However, in more Sony news, Sony shuts down the Fat Princess. That's right, piece of cake. Shutting down the servers and stuff like that. Should we get into this talk again? How we should have some type of system where servers always stay up for games, old games? Should we get into that? We've talked about this before. Once they die, that's it. There's no coming back from that. I mean, we saw it. I always want to bring up what happened with Mercenaries. I always do. Because the previous Mercenaries, the current one they have, remember, they hyped the hell out of that. And then EA was like, wait a minute, no one's playing this online. But there's online trophies. Everyone's trying to get their online trophies. We don't care. We're cutting the servers. And never came back. Sad, sad, sad. Anyways, in more news, alright? Overwatch. Let's talk about it. Overwatch patch comes early, reveals Halloween skins in a Halloween event. We just talked about this. Pokemon Go developers, I hope you're listening. Halloween skins, a Halloween event, a Hollywood update. That's right. And new Rest in Peace pose. That's right. Pokemon Go developers, take notes. Take notes. This is how you keep your community happy. This is how it goes. I don't know why you have not figured this out yet. All you got to do is look at the blueprint. That's all you got to do. In more news, all right? I'm sure this is going to be fun. War of the Planet of the Apes, that's right, is getting its own video game. How much you want to make a bet that Harambe memes are going to take over? How much you want to make a bet for this game? Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's like, seriously, this is one of those things that, once again, now you come out with a game, all monkeys, Harambe is going to be, you can't tell me it's not going to happen. You can't tell me it's not going to happen. Also, in Mafia 3 news, that's right. Now, we've seen what's been going on with Mafia 3 and what people have said. And, last week we talked about, the racism part, how people were very upset at what happened when you shoot up the, the KKK. However, for those who need more emphasis on this, all right, in-game, there's a message for you. That's right, that the developers of 2K, when they did Mafia 3, what they have to say about, the racial injustice or, the narrative that they're trying to push in this game. So pretty much what they're saying is that they need these characters to have some sort of racist beliefs, in their statements, because not only are they trying to bring you a realistic experience, but they're trying to diversify their world when it comes to, character depth. Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I remember Mafia too. I mean, look. Anyone who watched any type of Mafia-type movies with Italians and all, they always talk bad about black people, do they not? Right, so shit, just watch a Bronx Tale. Just watch that. And see what happens in a Bronx Tale. But it shouldn't upset you. You know what I mean? It shouldn't. It didn't upset me. I mean, it's part of it. So as far as I'm concerned, this is something that this is the next step. And it's taken this long to get to this step, but I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't understand how people can get this, I don't want to say sensitive. I guess it's a sensitive issue, but, seriously, it's a game. Like I said, it's a game, and they're trying to tell a story. And if you want, these games to be better, especially in these long, these vast type of open world type games, you're going to need as many personalities as you can get. If everyone thought the same way, it wouldn't be anything. People will say, "Oh, well, it lacks diversity, and we're going to rate it down lower than what it is. It could have been better than this." Now you're getting what you want, and it's, how dare you give us diversity, character depth, and stop. Okay, let them do them. As far as I'm concerned, they're doing the right thing. However, more news about Mafia 3. The patch comes out, it adds 60 frames per second to fix, and also unlimited frames per second for the PC community. That's right. So you're getting that. All right, so hopefully they fix more glitches, because the glitches we have seen from Mafia 3 have been hilarious. Guys go take it up in the air, carry on, hilarious. I mean, hopefully they fix this type of stuff. Looking in the mirror, and when you look in the mirror, your reflection doesn't look back at you. The character's still turned around. As far as I'm concerned, these are things that are hilarious, but they definitely need to be fixed. They do. All right. Once again, this begs the question. Are the testers, do they even have testers these days? I mean, seriously. I mean, you have to be able to go through this type of stuff. And I understand, once again, that you have a deadline. But publishers, give the developers time to do what they need to do to fix these things. You can't just say, oh, we're just going to patch it later and patch it later and patch it on top of a patch, on top of a patch, on top of a fucking patch. All right? You got to give them time. They're so quick to throw money. We've seen with EA, there's times where they've taken a ton of money. They've spent more money on advertising a game as opposed to the game it's made. All right? We've seen it. Hello, Medal of Honor. But that's not the point. The point is, this is something that needs time. It needs effort. It's an open world game. Give them as much time as they need. All right? Mafia 3, I play this with all the fixes. I don't see where, I play this. It's nothing game breaking really, at least for what I've seen so far. Maybe there is some game breaking stuff. But it's one of those things where it does, it's a laughable thing, but it can, I can see, ruin someone's, experience at times, especially in a pivotal situation. So, yeah, you have to give developers time to fix that, publishers. You just can't be like, this is your deadline, get it out of there. That's just absolutely wrong. It's wrong. That's why we're having this argument. I should say argument. Fans will argue with developers or publishers, but this is the conversation we're having today. So, let's move on. Gravity Rush 2. Kind of disappointed. Because I've been pushing Gravity Rush, I feel a little much. But Gravity Rush 2 has been delayed until January. That's right. But Sony says they're going to give you free DLC to make up for it. So, we'll see what happens. It's not too far away. I mean, we're in October. So, I'm sure that people can wait a couple more months. Besides, Holiday Rush is coming. Everybody's going to want to play their Call of Duties and all that other stuff. And we'll see what happens during the holiday season. I think January is a good time for Gravity Rush to come out. It's right afterwards. We'll see what happens. More than likely, they'll probably do it, I would think, late January. It would be smart to do it late January, you know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Dates and times always move. So, we'll see what happens. Also, Gears of War 4. I guess we should talk about this. The overhyped piece of trash that is Gears of War 4. And I know people will say, oh my god, how do you say that? Look, I haven't played Gears since Gears of War 2. Because I was very disinterested. Very. Alright, first one, I love the first one. Very disinterested. And the reason I say this is because Gears of War 4 gives you bonuses if you played the previous games. Okay? So, like I said, I'm very disinterested. This one doesn't interest me at all. Oh, it's his son, and he's got to go see daddy, and blah, 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 blah. Come on. It's one of those games, look, I played this. It's one of those games where I feel as though it's just a cash-in. That's what it is. It's Gears, it's a franchise, you know it's a franchise because it's a big name, it's been around for a long time, and people will go and run and buy Gears. That's how I feel, okay? That's how I feel. I feel as though it's just one of those things where there's just nothing there for me left. There's nothing. Like I said, I played Gears after 2, I was done with 2. Gears 3 came around, my friends had it, I just watched the story with that and was just like, that's all I did. Don't really care. And now this. I could do without Gears, as far as I'm concerned. There's a number of games I feel as though should just stop after a while, and Gears is one of them, okay? But there's other people who feel as though Gears of War is great. And he is getting to the point now, if you bag on Gears of War, that he will challenge you. That's right. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Hip Hop Gamer, oh God, is coming out and challenging people to Gears of War 4 because they're giving it low scores. Or, not even low scores, fair scores, because a 7 out of 10 is still fair. So yeah, if you give it a fair score, He's hurt by it, all right? Like I said, laughing if you want, but the truth is said in jest, especially on how he feels about Gears, because it's damn near the greatest game ever. Didn't he say that about Uncharted? Yeah, damn near the greatest game ever. Didn't he bag on Microsoft not too long ago? Oh, but Gears is the greatest game ever. Didn't he bag on the PC community only to say that he was part now of the PC elitist, apparently? You know, the PC master race? And then, when he didn't know what the hell he was talking about the PC, PC gamers trashed him, so he left the PC to go back to Microsoft? After making that, making that thing about Sony being the best and Microsoft is in trouble? Flip-flop gamer. Dog. Look, I put it like this, man. Alright? There's no way that you can hype up every AAA game that comes the fuck out. Alright? You think, like I said, we see your blueprint. We see your act. Because that's what it is. That's why we call you a fraud. You're an act. Alright? Every AAA game comes out, you think if you scream enough to the high heavens that the developers will see you and that you feel as though, you know, since you're doing it and you're trying to promote them, that they would give you something free or you'd be buddy-buddy with them. You can nudge, wink, and all this other shit. We know, okay? Gears, as you can see from other people, they don't think it's that good. I personally won't give it a chance due to the fact that it doesn't interest me. Not because I feel as though the game is that bad. However, I have talked to people who have played this game and say, it is that bad. It's this simple, okay? The fact is, people are allowed to have their opinions. If they want to give it a 7 out of 10, let them have a 7 out of 10, alright? But then you go on to say, but IGN, thank you IGN for giving it a great score for this greatness. Are you fucking serious? Just kissing ass. Kissing ass. You think if you keep atting them, and you know, that it'll probably generate more stuff because of your positivity, even though we already know that's full of shit too, because you've antagonized gamers all summer. So don't give me that shit. But there's more, people. There's more. That's right. For those who don't know, all right? Now Hip Hop Gamer is deciding who he challenges. You know, these challenges picks and chooses who he wants to play for his title. So you'll play her, but you won't play any hardcore gamers for their title. So I have to ask, Flip Flop Gamer, since that's what you do now, all right? I have to ask, what about that open challenge? I'm just wondering, what about the open challenge? You know, see me. So what about the open challenge then? I'm just wondering. Because now you want to challenge people to 2K. Okay, fine, you want people to challenge to 2K. So how can we set this up? Because I'll body you in 2K17. I'll body you in 2K16. I'll body you in 2K15. I'll body you in 2K13. We can go all the way back down the list. I'll body you in No Mercy. I'll body you in WCW Nitro. Was it NWO Revenge? I'll body you in FPW Wrestling. All right? Come on, man. And no one I'm talking about Fire Pro Wrestling. That's what I mean when I say FPW. Alright? Y'all have to understand, man. This dude is not a gamer. He's not. He's a guy looking on the outside trying to be in. And he's only about himself. And you and I both know that everything that he does, if you haven't realized, is I put it like this. If Terry Crews came out right now and said, hey, I'll play you in Street Fighter V right now for your title. Let's go. Hip Hop Gamer would jump to the chance of that. He would. But when y'all do it, oh no, you gotta be muted. You gotta be blocked. You're nothing but a hater. That's what you are. You're nothing but an entitled, spoiled hater. That's what he's going to say about you. Y'all understand this, right? Because you've taken challenges from other people, multiple people, and you still haven't played them. But yet, you'll put the title up against her, huh? It's only against people that you feel as if you can gain something off of. That's what it is. It's all about you. Alright? And as you know, in this community, alright, it's not about you. It's about us. Once again, going the wrong way about it. And the influence that you are showing, this ignorance that you are showing, and having these fans, alright, your fans, are okay with this ignorance, which it seems like most of them these days are kids, or just really stupid adults. It's disgusting. It is. But, you know, since you want to put the title up on the line for the A2K, you let me know when you're ready, okay? Because I don't have a problem with that. I'll beat you in in the simplest game. We can play dive kick and I'll beat you for your fucking title. Alright? Or we can go to something more technical. And I'll beat you in that too. You don't have the stripes that a lot of us have. We've earned our stripes. You haven't done shit. You don't have any credibility. But if you think that you go around with a microphone and a camera and a press pass, which anyone, for those who still don't understand how this works, alright? Anybody, if you're going to a convention or anything like that, you can file for a press pass. You can request a press pass and bring a microphone and a camera. Alright? You can do that. Anyone can do it. What you do is not important. Alright? it seems as though people still don't get it. But I guess they never will. If you haven't understood it by now, then I guess you never will. Like I said, if the guy wants to be a fraud, fine. Stay a fraud. But don't give me this old bullshit that you're going to do this photo op time and hold your title up and we're going to challenge all this. Dude, you've accepted challenges in the past and ducked them. Now you want some type of credibility. Now you want some type of some of your fans to come along and back you on this simply because you're putting it up there against her. When you've ducked no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. You don't get to pick and choose. You know, if you're a champion, you can't have an open challenge and then pick and choose who you play. That's not how it works. All right. You see, open challenge, you're supposed to take on everyone, right? It's an open challenge. Open. First come, first serve. Whatever, dude. Keep playing this role. All right? Because that's how I see it. It's a role. And like I said just not too long ago on Twitter, if people are playing a role or a hero or whatever the role, you're a bunch of fucking pathetic man-children. That's what you are. That's what you are. It's one thing to have fun, all right, and say I'm going to do this, but it's another thing to actually play the role and say this is what I'm doing, and because it brings excitement, entertainment, the competition is what brings the excitement, not you. Anybody can turn on any YouTube video right now and watch two people playing, don't know who the hell they are, and be excited because of the way that they're playing that game. It has nothing to do with you and your personality. Let's move on. Let's talk about some good news, shall we? Beyond Good and Evil 2 is officially in development. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Also, for those, because of this announcement, all right, Ubisoft is making Beyond Good and Evil, the original, free for download via Uplay. So if you want to take a gamble with Uplay, go ahead, all right? But it is free for download, just to let you know, okay? They are putting it out there, all right? So there you go. Also, in more news, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night gets a publisher. That's right. They got one. It's 505 Games. That's right. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be suspect of 505 Games, but like I said, they're only publishing it, so we'll see what happens with that, all right? But like I said, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, as you know, it's still, as we know so far, is delayed till, 2018? Maybe with this new publisher, maybe they'll push up even more. You never know. And there's talk about it not coming to the Wii U. We are not sure just yet what's going on. They may push it to the NX. Hopefully that is not the case. It is a very sticky situation due to the fact that they have already talked about how people who funded this game were on the Wii U. You know what I mean? And you don't want to leave those people out. But then at one point you got to say technology is getting outdated. We just talked about this with the Kinect, did we not? But that's their case. So do you make it for all the platforms that have been pushed and possibly take a hit or not? I play like this: if the game is quality, the game's not going to take a hit regardless of what platform you put it on. Okay. So last bit of news, which will probably upset some Hitman fans. Probably, okay? And I find it's funny because this is another tie-in with Hip Hop Gamer not too long ago. Oh, I'm taking pictures and interviews with the Hitman development crew. Yeah. So the development crew says that Hitman, his story, is just the beginning. So for all of you that were very upset, and we saw all the problems with Hitman when it came out, did we not? Not to mention the season pass and all these episodic content, you know what I mean? And how they pretty much screwed you over with all this. And people were very upset. They're letting you know now that this is just the beginning, and they're going to get you even more if you're a Hitman fan. That's what they're doing. So, Jesus Christ. But I got the interview, dog. I got the pictures. I'm taking pictures of. Even look at the picture. The dude's like, "Yo, don't even touch me." Like the one developer, he doesn't even care. Look, it's one thing if you're taking pictures, and I say this because I'm done all the news, but it's one thing if you're taking pictures, well, people that you respect, or people that you like, or you're fans of, you know what I mean? Oh, I took a picture with, such and such, or voice actor, or, developer, or, this company's representative because, the publisher, you like the publisher or whatever. If you're a fan, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, all right? But when you go out there and you try and do that and purposely kiss ass, and that's what you're doing, you're purposely kissing ass to make a name for yourself. When you have people who actually went to school for journalism. You know what you do when you do that? You're taking shortcuts. That's what you're doing, number one. And you disrespect what they do. And I know a lot of people say, well, gaming journalism is shit. Yeah, it probably, it more likely is. But if you think about it, they flip-flopped as well. Because remember, at one point, they were saying that gaming journalists, they don't even have degrees. They're just bloggers. They're just bloggers. Remember, so they didn't want to own the gaming journalist route. Remember that? Now they're gaming journalists. Okay. Because they didn't want to abide by, they didn't want to abide by the ethics rule. Now they are they not? A lot of them are. So, if you're going to be a journalist, you should know you have to conduct yourself a certain way. I'm not trying to hear you're going to act like Manny in Street Fighter 4, Grand Theft Auto 4. Hey, this is the streets. I'm in the microphone. We in the streets. I mean, seriously, that's what you're pretty much doing. And we all know what happened to Manny, don't we? Exactly. The fact is, if you're going to do this, and understand, and I say this to all YouTubers, all right? If you're going to act like you're a journalist, and you want to be a credible journalist, and you want to make this a career in journalism, all right? Then I suggest you start growing up, and you start doing things the right way. I say that due to the fact that, number one, especially what you're seeing already in the gaming media, you should know that it can be better. I think anybody in gaming will let you know it could be better. So why don't you be that person who starts that? Like I said, I'm just sitting here. I'm just a guy on camera. I'm not trying to be a journalist. I'm just giving you my opinions. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a journalist. But if I wanted to, it's not a problem for me to go from convention to convention, go get a camera, go get a microphone, and get a press pass. And for those who don't know, when they ask you press pass, especially with these YouTubers, for those who don't know, all right, they will ask you, how are you known? All you got to do is link your YouTube channel and tell them how many followers you have. That's all you have to do, pretty much. So for those who don't know how that process works, like I said, when you look into it and you see that type of stuff, then you wonder, how did Angry Joe do this? Or how did Hip Hop Gamer do this? This is how. Hey, I'm known because I have so many users. I have a demographic that I can reach out to. Want to know if I can request a press pass? That's it. That's all you gotta do. Or unless you know somebody can get one for you. But other than that, that's all you do. And then you just wait. You have to, when you request it, you should do it, a ways beforehand, and then they'll give you your answer. They'll get back to you. Not that hard. But leave it to these guys to make it seem like they're doing more than what they really are. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. All you do is request a press pass. And if you're lined up with a third-party company, then you know that they're going to have your back on that. It's not that hard to see the fucking blueprint. But leave it to them to feel as though they're celebrities. Because you talk to somebody who's known, now you're known. Get the fuck out of here. I say this also in my sports videos, do I not, people who watch my sports videos? Same thing. Just because you're on TV talking about sports doesn't mean you're just as important as the athletes who play it. It's the same as this. Just because you're talking to developers or publishers doesn't mean you're as important as the developers or the publishers that are doing it. Same thing. Or even the gamers. Depending on who you are. But it seems like people don't understand that. Alright? Anyways, not a bad week, I don't feel. I think there's some good news there. Some bad news too. But some good news. There's some spots there that say, hey, we'll see what happens with Gravity Rush. We will see what happens with Bloodstain. That's the two biggest priorities as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, once again, big ups, shout outs to the Skullgirl community. You deserve it. You know what I mean? You showed again that it is about community. It's not about one person. And when someone acts that way and say, how can you deal with that? You say, because we family. We don't get upset. And he said, y'all don't get upset. Y'all don't get mad. Nope. Because it's all part of the fun. You're not supposed to get mad. If you get caught, you should look at yourself and say, what did I do defensively wrong? That's simple. You don't get mad at the person and be like, I don't want to talk to you, I won't shake your hand and all this other shit. That's what children do. And these are from grown-ass men saying this. Anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Y'all have a good one. Tomorrow's stream, we get on it. Talk to you then. I'm out.